Deep in the sands of Egypt, there lies a mystery. This is the story of the Hyksos. These mysterious people ruled parts of Egypt for over a century. Their origins are shrouded in mystery. Some say they were invaders, others believe they were peaceful migrants. They were eventually driven out by a new breed of Egyptian pharaohs. The expulsion of the Hyksos is a story of resilience and the enduring spirit of Egypt. Imagine the fertile lands of ancient Egypt. Now picture this, a new power has arrived. They are the Hyksos, coming from the east, beyond the Sinai. They brought new weapons and ways of waging war, including horses and chariots. They established their own capital at Avaris in the Nile Delta. Despite their foreign origins, the Hyksos adopted Egyptian customs and worshipped Egyptian gods. This fusion of cultures created a unique period in Egyptian history. The rule of the Hyksos did not go unchallenged. In the south of Egypt, a new dynasty emerged, the Pharaohs of Thebes. One pharaoh would rise to the challenge, Ahmose I. He was a fierce warrior and a cunning strategist. Ahmose I saw the Hyksos as a threat to Egyptian order and was determined to expel them. His campaign against the Hyksos would be long and bloody. The Hyksos, who were these enigmatic rulers who dared to conquer Egypt? Some scholars point to the Levant as their likely homeland. Others propose a slow migration of people seeking fertile lands. The term Hyksos is an Egyptian word often translated as rulers of foreign lands. Were they a cohesive group or a loose confederation? The debate continues. A tantalizing clues point to the Hyksos' mastery of horses and chariots. This military advantage altered the balance of power in the ancient Near East. Their innovative approach to warfare allowed them to outmaneuver and overpower their Egyptian adversaries. The Hyksos were shrewd strategists, adept at exploiting political divisions. Their rise to power was a calculated campaign. Their success sowed the seeds of resentment among the native Egyptian population. This discontent would eventually erupt into open rebellion. The Hyksos were not simply conquerors. They recognized the importance of adapting to their new surroundings. They adopted Egyptian customs, worshipped Egyptian gods, and incorporated elements of Egyptian art and architecture. This cultural fusion is evident in the archaeological record. The Hyksos embraced the Egyptian administrative system, integrating themselves into society. This pragmatic approach contributed to a period of relative stability and prosperity. The Hyksos rule brought stability, but resentment simmered. The Egyptians, proud of their heritage, chafed under Hyksos dominion. The Hyksos were still perceived as outsiders. In the south, the pharaohs of Thebes began to consolidate their power. The stage was set for a clash of civilizations. The Egyptians prepared for a war of liberation. The Nile, lifeblood of Egypt, flowed through a land divided. In the north, the Hyksos ruled from Avaris. South of the Hyksos realm lay Thebes, home to traditional pharaohs. The Nile marked a border of tension. Temples served different masters. This division was a clash of cultures, a reminder of a kingdom in disarray. In Thebes, whispers of rebellion echoed. Priests stoked the flames of discontent. Among the people, resentment grew. Farmers and artisans longed for the days of old. A new generation of pharaohs yearned to reclaim their birthright. The call for action grew louder with each passing day. From this lineage of warrior kings emerged Ahmose I. He was a symbol of defiance and hope. Ahmose I craved to restore Egypt to its former glory. He inherited a kingdom on the brink of war. He embraced new technologies and trained his soldiers relentlessly. He forged them into a fighting force capable of taking on the Hyksos. The armies of Thebes marched north. Led by Ahmose I, they were disciplined and well-equipped. Ahmose targeted strategic cities and fortresses along the Nile. The Egyptians utilized a combination of traditional and new military tactics. Each victory sent shockwaves through the Hyksos ranks. Their aura of invincibility began to crumble. Ahmose I was proving to be a formidable adversary. Avaris, the Hyksos capital, found itself under siege. Ahmose I opted for a strategy of attrition. Egyptian archers rained arrows into the city. Sappers labored to undermine the city walls. Inside Avaris, the mood was grim. Food and water were running low. Ahmose tightened the noose, launching probing attacks. The sun beat down on the plains outside Avaris. Ahmose I lured the Hyksos into a trap. The chariots surged forward, a thundering wave of bronze and fury. Egyptian archers unleashed a deadly hail of arrows. The battle raged for hours, a chaotic dance of death. The Egyptians fought with ferocity, their discipline evident. The Hyksos resistance crumbled under the relentless Egyptian onslaught. The victory at Avaris was decisive, but Ahmose I knew the war was far from over. The Hyksos retreated east, seeking refuge in the southern Levant. Ahmose prepared his army for a new campaign into the Levant. The Egyptian army marched east, crossing the Sinai Peninsula, led by Ahmose, a masterful strategist and courageous warrior. The campaign was grueling, testing Egyptian endurance and might. They faced fierce resistance from Hyksos loyalists, yet Ahmose pressed on, his determination unwavering. The Egyptians laid siege to key cities. Ahmose negotiated alliances, turning former enemies into allies. His campaign dismantled the Hyksos' power and established Egyptian dominance. The expulsion of the Hyksos shaped Egyptian history for centuries. The ancient city of Megiddo, perched strategically atop a hill, stood as a silent sentinel. The Egyptians, led by Ahmose I, pursued the Hyksos into the southern Levant. Megiddo became the focal point of this clash of civilizations. The fate of empires hung in the balance. The silence of the morning was broken by the rhythmic pounding of drums, signaling the start of the Egyptian advance. Ahmose I led his troops towards Megiddo, his face a mask of determination. The Egyptians advanced in disciplined formations, their shields glinting in the morning sun. Leading the assault were the Egyptian chariot forces, their speed and maneuverability unmatched. The charioteers urged their steeds forward, their chariots thundering across the plains. Behind them marched the infantry, their ranks bristling with spears and swords. As the Egyptians approached Megiddo, they encountered fierce resistance from Hyksos skirmishers. Ahmose I maintained his army's discipline, repelling the enemy with counterattacks. He knew that victory lay in maintaining the initiative and breaking the enemy's will. The Hyksos defenders rained down arrows upon the advancing Egyptians. They were determined to make the Egyptians pay dearly for every inch of ground. The battle for Megiddo had begun, a desperate struggle that would leave an indelible mark on history. Section 3. Stratagem and Surprise. The battle unfolds. Ahmose I, a cunning tactician, anticipated a protracted siege. However, he recognized the importance of seizing the initiative. As the siege of Megiddo commenced, Ahmose I conceived a daring plan. Under the cover of darkness, a select contingent of Egyptian troops, led by Ahmose I himself, stealthily moved through the rugged terrain. Their objective, a secondary gate less heavily defended than the main entrance. As dawn broke, the Hyksos defenders were caught off guard. Panic spread through their ranks, their defenses crumbling. The Egyptians pressed their advantage, their swords carving a bloody path. The battering ram smashed against the gate, signaling a turning point in the battle. The gate collapsed, allowing the main Egyptian force to surge into the city. Their battle cries struck fear into the hearts of the defenders. Section 4. Victory at Megiddo, a turning point. The fall of Megiddo was swift and brutal, a testament to the ferocity of the Egyptian assault and the crumbling morale of the Hyksos defenders. The Egyptians, their bloodlust aroused, fought with a savage intensity, their every blow fueled by years of resentment and a burning desire for vengeance. The streets of the once proud city ran red with blood as the Hyksos, their defences shattered, their hopes dashed, fought a desperate but ultimately futile last stand. Ahmose I, a whirlwind of steel and fury, led his troops from the front, his copper sword carving a bloody swathe through the enemy ranks, his presence inspiring his men and striking terror into the hearts of his foes. He fought with the courage and skill of a warrior king, his every action exuding an aura of authority and power that rallied his troops and broke the spirit of his enemies. The victory at Megiddo was more than just a military triumph. It was a turning point in Egyptian history, a resounding declaration that Egypt, under the leadership of a new breed of warrior pharaohs, was once again a force to be reckoned with. The expulsion of the Hyksos, a long and arduous struggle, had finally reached its culmination, ushering in a new era of Egyptian power and prosperity. The Battle of Megiddo, forever etched in the annals of history, would serve as a testament to the strategic brilliance and martial prowess of Ahmose I, a king who had inherited a kingdom divided and left behind an empire on the rise. The echoes of that victory would reverberate through the centuries, inspiring future generations of Egyptians and solidifying Ahmose's place among the pantheon of great Egyptian pharaohs. Section 1. A New Egypt. The expulsion of the Hyksos was a turning point. Egypt was no longer a land divided. It was united under a strong pharaoh. Ahmose I had proven himself a great leader. He had liberated his people and secured his borders. But the war had changed Egypt. It had forged a new identity. Ahmose I knew that simply expelling the Hyksos wasn't enough. He needed to prevent another invasion. He embarked on a series of campaigns. He expanded Egypt's borders south into Nubia. He also strengthened his control over Canaan. This marked the beginning of the new kingdom. This era would be Egypt's most glorious. The pharaohs were now warrior kings. They were determined to expand their empire. They would build grand monuments and leave behind a legacy of power. The pharaohs who followed Ahmose I continued his legacy. They built upon his successes and launched ambitious military campaigns. They conquered new territories and amassed great wealth. Egypt became the dominant power in the Near East. Thutmose I, a pharaoh of the early New Kingdom, pushed the boundaries of the empire even further south into Nubia, securing access to valuable gold mines and trade routes. His reign marked a period of unprecedented prosperity and expansion, with Egyptian influence reaching its zenith. The pharaohs of the New Kingdom were not just conquerors, they were also great builders. They commissioned magnificent temples and tombs. These structures were a testament to their power and piety. They were also designed to ensure their legacy would last for eternity. The Valley of the Kings, a hidden necropolis in the desert, became the final resting place for these mighty rulers, their tombs filled with treasures and adorned with intricate paintings and hieroglyphs, preserving their stories for millennia to come. The Hyksos, though driven from Egypt, left a lasting impact. They had introduced new technologies and ideas. These innovations would have a profound effect on Egyptian society. One of the most significant Hyksos contributions was the chariot. This revolutionary war machine transformed Egyptian warfare, giving their armies greater speed, maneuverability, and striking power. The Egyptians also adopted the composite bow from the Hyksos. This powerful weapon, made from layers of wood, bone, and sinew, could fire arrows with greater range and accuracy than traditional Egyptian bows. Its introduction gave the Egyptian army a significant advantage in battle, contributing to their military successes during the New Kingdom. The Hyksos expulsion had fostered a sense of national identity and unity. The Egyptians had overcome a common enemy. They were determined to never let their homeland be ruled by foreigners again. This newfound sense of unity and purpose fueled the expansion of the new kingdom, propelling Egypt to new heights of power and influence. The Hyksos period, though a time of foreign rule, had inadvertently laid the groundwork for one of the most glorious eras in Egyptian history. It was a reminder that even in defeat there are lessons to be learned, innovations to be embraced, and a spirit of resilience to be cultivated, all of which contributed to the enduring legacy of ancient Egypt. We stand amidst the ruins of a bygone era, the desert wind whispering tales of pharaohs and conquerors, of battles fought and empires forged. The expulsion of the Hyksos, a chapter in Egyptian history often shrouded in mystery and debate, serves as a testament to the enduring spirit of a civilization unwilling to be ruled by outsiders. Imagine the echoes of clashing bronze, the thunder of chariots racing across the battlefield, the cries of victory, and the lamentations of defeat, all fading into the sands of time. The Hyksos, those enigmatic rulers from the east, had dared to challenge the established order, their presence a disruption to the flow of Egyptian history. Their rule, though marked by periods of stability and even prosperity, was a constant reminder of Egypt's vulnerability, a thorn in the side of a people fiercely proud of their heritage. Their expulsion, a long and arduous struggle, was not merely a changing of the guard, but a reawakening of the Egyptian spirit, a resurgence of national pride, and a determination to reclaim their rightful place as masters of their own destiny. The Nile, witness to centuries of human endeavor, flows silently past the remnants of this bygone era, its waters carrying the memories of triumphs and tragedies, of empires that rose and fell, of civilizations that flourished and faded. The expulsion of the Hyksos serves as a reminder that history is not a linear progression, but a tapestry woven from threads of conquest and rebellion, of innovation and adaptation, of resilience and renewal. The expulsion of the Hyksos was not simply a military victory, it was a transformative event that reshaped the political, military, and cultural landscape of ancient Egypt. The new kingdom, born from the crucible of conflict, emerged as a confident and expansionist power, its pharaohs embracing their role as warrior kings, eager to project Egyptian influence far beyond their traditional borders. The Egyptians, their resolve hardened by years of struggle, embarked on an era of unprecedented military expansion, their armies marching south into Nubia, their fleets sailing across the Mediterranean, their merchants establishing trade routes that stretched from the heart of Africa to the shores of the Aegean. The Hyksos, though vanquished, had inadvertently left their mark on the very civilization they had sought to conquer. Their introduction of new technologies, particularly the horse-drawn chariot and the composite bow, revolutionized Egyptian warfare, providing their armies with a decisive advantage on the battlefield. These innovations, once symbols of Hyksos military might, were readily adopted and adapted by the Egyptians, becoming integral components of their own military strategy and contributing to their success in forging an empire. But the legacy of the Hyksos expulsion extended far beyond the realm of military conquests and territorial expansion. It fostered a renewed sense of national unity and cultural identity, a shared experience of struggle and triumph that bound the Egyptian people together under the rule of a new dynasty of pharaohs who embodied their aspirations for a strong, prosperous, and independent nation. This newfound unity and purpose found expression in a flourishing of art, architecture, and literature, as the Egyptians sought to celebrate their victories, honor their gods, and preserve their legacy for eternity. The expulsion of the Hyksos serves as a poignant reminder that adversity, however challenging, can be a catalyst for growth, innovation, and renewal. The Egyptians, faced with the threat of foreign domination, dug deep within themselves, summoning the courage, ingenuity, and determination to not only expel their oppressors, but to emerge from the conflict stronger and more united than ever before. Their story is a testament to the indomitable spirit of a people unwilling to be defined by their challenges, but rather by their response to them. The echoes of this ancient struggle continue to resonate across the millennia, reminding us that the course of history is rarely smooth or predictable. It is a tapestry woven from threads of conflict and cooperation, of progress and setbacks, of moments of despair and flashes of brilliance. The Hyksos Expulsion, a seemingly distant event in the annals of time, offers valuable lessons for our own age, an age grappling with its own set of challenges and opportunities. It teaches us that unity, born from shared purpose and a willingness to overcome adversity, is essential for any society to thrive. It reminds us that innovation, often spurred by necessity, can be the key to overcoming seemingly insurmountable obstacles. And above all, it underscores the importance of resilience, of the unwavering belief in one's ability to persevere, adapt, and ultimately triumph over adversity, no matter how daunting the odds may seem. The legacy of the Hyksos Expulsion, a legacy forged in conflict and tempered by time, continues to inspire and inform, offering valuable insights into the enduring power of the human spirit to overcome adversity and shape its own destiny.